Are we live? Are we going even? This is how every stream begins, with me not knowing what's going on. Okay, we are live. Wonderful. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Let me just get a couple things set up. Oh my god. I still haven't figured out how to do the mod buttons. That's not good. There we go. My mod actions. I'm gonna bring up my notes. I want to do a few things today. I want to make some language. I want to gather a few notes and compile them into here because I have a bunch of just like disparate little bits of things. Oh, I pulled up my wrong notes. Hold on now. Okay. I'm in my creatures tab. We're gonna start writing down some creatures. I'm just trying to flesh out a little bit of stuff today. I have a map up. I have a map on screen of where we're kind of working. And I'm just gonna add things. We have... Oh, bold. There was another thing in here. What did I call this? A livenwort? I'm gonna be honest, I don't even know what that is. I just wrote down the word and I was like, that sounds like it could be something. And so now it is. What else did I have? Oop. Surely I had more than just that. Creatures? Oh. We have these little guys. Those are like goats. We have these. Kind of like a horse. And we have bats. We have a few different types. So let me make little subsections. I'm gonna shrink this. We're gonna do small caps. Green bat. We have wingless bat. Imagine this is like a plump little chicken. We have... Oh, a belfer. Those are... You know, I should just add the notes here. This is basically... No, not in caps anymore. Not tiny either. Hold on. Messenger bat. Like a messenger pigeon. They would have like, train to travel to a specific location. So then if you travel, take a little belfer with you, you can send off a message, it'll go to wherever it's trained to go to. It won't be able to find you again. But it can at least go there. Can't find its way back to you though. There we go. Wingless bat. Let's unbold and bump this up again. This is food. Only type of bat people in, I'm just gonna say in the north will eat. I have this religion building in my head that I've not fully fleshed out, in which the bats are of religious significance, and so if they can fly, they will not eat them. The wingless bats clearly cannot fly. I just haven't fleshed that out all the way, but we're gonna make that note for now. Bump this up, and green bat, like a songbird, but a bat. They make little whistles in the trees. There's also some plants I might want to steal from my other notes and put in here. There's also things that I'm stealing from my D&D campaign that I made that I'm putting in here because I like the concepts and the names. And so I will steal my own intellectual property. Okay, in plants, I'm gonna put down... Oh, I meant to bold. I'm gonna put down this. This is... looks like a petrified, stony, semi-porous plant. This is... Oh, is this the right term? Calcified? It's calcified coral. I don't know if that's the word I'm looking for. Calcified? Accumulation of calcium salts in a body tissue in the formation of bone. I don't know if that's what I'm thinking of. It feels right in my head. When calcium builds up in body tissues, causing them to harden. I mean, coral's already hard. I don't know. It's really not that important. But that's the gist. It's coral, but on land. This is basically just little, like, bits of porous branch-looking things that are growing up on land. So it's not coral, but it is. We have, it's called a gildan tree. That's not how you spell tree. What other trees did I make? Can't recall. Let me look at my notes again. I've written like a book and a half in this world by now, and it's all a little bit disparate. So I'm trying to bring things together and do a little bit of like backtracking, as it were. Ooh, we should do a tab for historical figures. Should I go under characters? We'll add a sub-tab. Historical giggers. Historical figures. I'm gonna put this guy in here. Grothis. It's the only important one that I have made so far. That's not true. It's the only important one that I can remember at this moment in time that I've made so far. Grain contained within a husk protected by white silken strands. It's like corn, basically. Okay. Ooh, let's go down to places and culture. I'm gonna go to Singed Rock. And I just want to start keeping track of these things as well, for goodness sake. We'll have Dust Smith, Dust Warden, Dust Barrier. I think I'm going to have those as separate things. I may combine them. We shall see. Hot Seeker. Osser and Sicer. Let's go back to where are we at? Plants? Plants. Or maybe foods. What foods have I given them? I know I've given them berries, and I know I've given them fungi. I've given them some type of grain. I have the wheat. I feel like I've given them more. We may, in fact, do this and just... boop. We may steal that and put it under here. Let's keep looking. Also, let me know if sound is okay, or music, or if it's not okay, I guess. I cannot hear it, because I'll get distracted by it. So hopefully it's okay. Creatures? I don't like this one. Aerolope, I called it. It doesn't fit with the rest. I need to change that. I'm going to put a note for it right here. Change this name. And I know that I decided it's a winged something. It does bring to mind the image of a winged antelope, which is not what I'm wanting. I don't know exactly what I'm wanting. I just know that it's not that. Okay, I'm seeing more things. What did I put here? Places and culture. Can we move these down a little bit? After Otherworlders, use a quarterstaff, which I had in my notes over here that I'm looking at on my iPad for some reason. Don't know why that was significant, but I did write it down. And I know I have root vegetables, plants. It's not bold. Root vegetables. I'll put that in food as well. I don't know what they are. I don't know what they're called. I just know they exist. Oh, and I know I have gourds of some kind. And I know cultivated by Yorlings, which is a little creature in this world. I think that's it for this portion of my notes. I'm scrolling. Bugs. We do have insects. And I know that I wrote down specifically warded off with salt. What else do we have? Food. I know I've given them wine and ale of some kind. I've not given them grapes though, so I guess it comes from berries, potentially. Let's go back to the plants. I know I'm getting a section. See, these are organized. What I'm scrolling through is not. It's just all a big blob. Which is why it takes a second. Okay, here we go. I know there's more plant stuff in here. We have creatures. I know we will have... Mooth is another one. What else do we have? Okay. Plants. Dahlia, which I described as having a hearty flavor. I know we have Corum. You would soggy me? On my birthday of all days? You should be reading Mel Langdon. No, see, this is rude. This is just disrespectful. Listen. I want you to know, in case you've missed it, unless you have me muted, there is a new Crumbs challenge for killing Bellathor. It's there. I don't think it's gotten a single donation yet, but it's there. And just like the Farkas one, if it doesn't succeed, I'm gonna have to do the opposite and let him live forever. There we go. Kill Bellathor. We love it. Ungwort. Which I just described as flavorful. Okay, that's very helpful. An orange top? Which I also just described as flavorful. Okay. You're great at these notes. You won't let that happen? I believe in you. I believe in you. I'll even throw in a couple extra streams to let you build up crumbs. You can just put your phone somewhere and collect them. You know what? I think if we fail the Bellathor challenge, I'm gonna have to scrap the world. I'm gonna have to make a new character that looks exactly like Bellathor, and I'm gonna have to let him take over the world. As me. Yoon herb? Is that what I called this? Yoon herb? And also Fingal. It's a name I'm very proud of. I did not describe what they are other than it's an herb. Herb. There we go. His twin brother, Bogathor. So true. Oh, creatures. Billbugs. Which, oh, I'm muted now. Well, enjoy your work. Enjoy your work shift. Let's move these down here because I know that the pill bugs go in this section. Okay, do I have anything else? I feel like I've actually gotten most of this by now. I know that in terms of food, from this creature, they would get meat and milk, cheese. We can even give them yogurt, butter. What else do you make with milk? I don't know. This is not a food product, but from sheep, you can get this waxy substance from their fur. So I'm just gonna say waxy substance from fur. I'm just double checking to make sure I did not miss any bits in here. I do make several references of there being a lot of grain. Foods, grain, and I also made a note. Processed with water mills. So I'm going to put that in there as well. Should make a tab for infrastructure. I think I should make a sub-tab here. I think it should go under places and culture. We'll make sub-tab in infrastructure. And we'll make a sub-tab for... Oh, what was the other one? It's on the tip of my tongue. Trade. Infrastructure and trade. Times New Roman. 12 point. Justified. Okay. I'm checking again. To make sure I have not missed anything. Ooh, places and culture. Arist. Oh my goodness. I'm blanking. There we go. We have gem wardens. We have... I think I called them somatists. Ooh, this is a more universal thing than just here, but we have lorists. Somatists. We have rocksmiths, I think I called them. And I feel like there's something else that I'm forgetting. Gem wardens, somatists, rocksmiths. Managerials. Managerials. And I also stole another term from my D&D campaign, grandiers. I do keep robbing myself. I keep stealing from myself. It's a free market, baby. Okay, I think that might be all of the ones that I'd written down so far. I'm just double checking, triple checking. I'm triple checking. So, I don't know how far I'm going to get today. I want to do a little bit of building with, I have this concept of there being a sort of, broken cycle of life and death in this place. And when somebody dies now, because of the effect that this world's inhabitants have had on it, the dead don't get to rest. I've not fully fleshed out that idea, but I have an idea for in places where this is most severe, nighttime being a very scary time. And so there's a lot of practices revolving around keeping oneself safe and making sure that the like circadian rhythm of these people brings them inside before sunset. And so then they're not likely to have the same sort of like evening routines. But then in the same breath, I'm wondering if there's like they come back inside for the evening, and maybe they live in ways that they're not like separated in different houses and buildings, but a lot of them like come back into a communal space so they can still share space with one another. They can hold space with one another. I'm toying with it, but I also want to make a few little language notes. Like naming or language conventions, I guess, for a few different places, just to make them feel a little bit more distinct. I'm still scrolling. I'm still checking. I think that's all the ones that I wrote down. I think that's good. Okay, good job, me. Good job, me. We're gonna go to languages. I have different creatures. I have different like groups of humans. And I want to make a few things. Who do I want to start with the most? I want to make sure we get these guys. Maybe these guys. Which this one's a little more obvious. We have double repeating vowels. I'm just trying to make some systems so that all the words and names are really recognizable when I get to them, when I get to certain places. Let's close this out as well. We have these guys. I know for this one, I had a lot of names. Names ending in Ein. I-N-E. What else did I did? We can have a frequency of J's. And I think other sounds like that. And similar sounds. Like G, G, J, J. And I think this is how you make this in ow. I just hit my funny bone on my bookshelf. It wasn't very nice. Okay, this one is gonna have to be different. I think, yeah, maybe not. Aristian. I think they'll need their own category. They're a little bit separate. Their little place is different. I don't know if you can see it on the map at all. We have Singed Rock, which is kind of towards the middle top. Aristians. Oh, their name is not fully on the map. They're kind of cut off. They're way on the right-hand side in the east. So yeah, they're not fully there. I think they would not share those naming conventions at all. There'd be a huge stretch of land between them. It's just like similar cultural ideas and ethnicity, but a long time being separate, different language. That's how I'm imagining it, at least. Names ending in ein or een, I guess. Frequency of J, G, J, J. Is there anything else that I want to put in there? I think we had frequency of Y's as well. Frequency of Y's. Then let's make some sample names. I know that we had... Let's not bold these. Let's not bold these. I know that we had Gareen. I know I did Boudwin as well, which does not follow any of those conventions, but I know that I had it. Oh, you know what? Let's do ein or in. There we go. I know that I did Lewin. I know I did Lewin as a name. Oh, let's expand this. Ein, in, een, and n. Gareen, Boudwin, Lewin. I know I did Everin, Leyen. Let's just add some more. Terrine. How about... Berine, Terrin, Berine. Should I have a different pronunciation for I-N-E and E-N-E? I wonder if that should be a gendered thing. I did have the concept of this place being a little bit stringent in its gender roles. Maybe not the best sample of a society. That could be. That would mean that we would have, like that. Which I think means I want to change this. Leywin. Boudwin, Gareen, Leywin, Everin, Lion, Tareen, Bareen. We'll have for these guys, I mean, it's already in the name. We can have a frequency of Z. And double repeating vowels here. So, what do I have? Nope. Sample names. Is that how I formatted it up above? It is. We're gonna do, and we have Rogan. I also did this name though, which doesn't really fit. I know I did this name as well, which also doesn't entirely fit. I don't know. I'll ponder this one. These ones I might need to tweak a little bit. Rogan, Waylon. So this is the pattern, right? We have double I's, double A's, that sort of thing. What's the vibe? So the goal is that when something like this shows up on the page, eventually it can kind of get internalized. Oh, this is a name from this sort of place because it's structured like this, or, you know, whatever else. Waythrish, I think it would fit really well for them to have, oh, what is the word I'm looking for? When you combined two parts of a word with an apostrophe. Oh my god. What is it called when you combine a word with apostrophe? A contraction. Duh. Okay, contraction names. So linked with, Hopefully that makes sense. I don't have great ideas for it yet, but that's what I'm thinking. For these ones, I know, let's see here, I want them to have complex names, vastly simplified when given to a foreigner. And long names, vastly simplified when given to a foreigner. Okay. I like this so far. I like it so far. We have a few distinctions. I really only need these places at the moment. And I have a pretty good idea for how they're going to look right now. I think I might want to make a new section for these, though. I don't know. What is the most helpful thing for me to look at right now? Go down and check out history. We've passed civilization, did something to break the Earth cycle of rebirth. New people, old issues continue, now they need to resolve it. I want to try to define this. I know done through large things. Large things. Large gemstones produced far underground. And then I know that peoples across Via have harvested the stones. Some people wear them as jewelry. Add time again. Wear them as jewelry. These are the hearts in Myvist. I haven't decided how they work. I haven't thought that through. Haven't figured out that much. But that's the idea. I do know that these ones, the hearts, allow people to... I still don't have a good term for this. A time vampirism. They get to take years from another person. To take time away from... Time is misleading. To take youth away from people they touch. Which is basically them taking the role that these things would have had underground and using it themselves, just kind of messed up. I want to go... Let's go to places and culture. Let's go back up here and let's make a section on Otherworlders, I suppose would be a good way to put it. How do I want to structure this? I'm gonna just start with Otherworlders. Emerge in force at night. Very rarely during the day. I know I wanted to do something weird with the... Sorry, I'm going back a topic. I know I wanted to do something weird with the moon as well. And I don't know if I can combine that with what's happening under the earth with this little gem situation that I've concocted. I've not fully figured that out. I don't know. Let's make a note for it. Let's make a note for it. Just in case I want to do something with it. Where did I put this? History? Okay. Could be related to weird moon thing. We'll come back to that thought. Where did I go? What am I doing? Help! Places and culture. Okay. Otherworlders. Otherworlders emerge in force at night, very rarely during the day. And then I want them to have some sort of like practices around this, like ways of fending them off. of fending them off, we'll have dust, just ground up bones of things that are basically giants. They go out, they kill these big creatures, they take the bones, they grind them up, they make it into this, because it is repulsive to these other creatures, these other worlders. So they dust around their houses. This is basically like a salt barrier, pretty much. Like the practice of, you know, superstition of you make a circle of salt to protect you from the demons, make a circle of dust to protect you from the other worlders. Same sort of thing, easily recognizable by somebody who might be reading it, which is exactly what I want. Something that's very easy to pick up on, but unique in its own right. Hang on a second. All right. Dust around their house is like a salt barrier. I like the idea of them keeping lights on. Keep lights on. Like a jack-o'-lantern. As if they can repel the other worlders. I just had a thought, and I've almost lost it. Oh, I'm wondering, as I'm writing this, job idea? Someone who has to keep watch throughout the night and keep a light going. This job would be assigned as a punishment to people who, I don't know, do something bad. We'll figure it out. Someone who's to keep a watch throughout the night and keep a light going. I also know that in this region, religion will play a role into this somewhat. I'm trying to think of an interesting way to do this. Okay, so we have... Let's just make a new section. We call this Flame Everlasting. Should I change this? I had it being all very fire. Well, it is light, though. If they're afraid of the night and they're afraid of the dark, then they want to... It does make sense. I had a little moment where I was questioning myself, but it makes sense. I think it's good. Okay, Flame Everlasting. This is their religion. I haven't fleshed out what they consider an afterlife to be like. Okay, let's do that right now. Afterlife would basically be like a place with no night and no shadows. Those would be things that they scorn. They want a place that's completely devoid of that after they leave. I imagine that it would be really straightforward for them to consider these celestial objects like a moon and a sun, maybe even stars, as being something of religious significance, since they are light amidst all this darkness, and it's light that repeatedly shows up. There's a lot of sun religions out there. I've made a couple myself already. I don't know if making another one is what I want to do. Place with no night and no shadow. I wonder if there's another way to approach this. Maybe they think that the sun and moon is being kept alight by something else that they would intend to worship. They wouldn't know, like we know, that the sun is made out of fire. They wouldn't be aware of this. So maybe there's something else that they believe is responsible for all of that light, or for having these celestial objects emit light in the first place. I'm pondering. I'm considering. Place with no night and no shadows. Shadows are produced by light. Would they distrust the sun somewhat? Because it can still cast shadows? And it casts shadows where it chooses, but they can control the fire, they can control light, they can put that wherever they want to get rid of shadows. We're gonna have them have, like, let's say like a holy placement of light to produce minimal shadows. Let's say belief that people can hide secrets and parts of themselves in shadows. I don't know what to call this. I'm just going to say during sermons, priests are lit from above and below to dispel shadows. Let's just say sourceless, pervasive light. It's just everywhere. It comes from everywhere. There is no shadows. That would look really weird. Okay. I like this. I like where this is going. Let's say don't believe in sun or moon as holy objects, since they cannot control the cast of shadows from them. I would say, though, that they would make structures that would intentionally produce shadows in frightening imitations of other worlders. Imagine they have a sermon at a time of day that ends with the shadows being banished because of the tilt of the sun. So if you... what's a good example of this? I think there's something like this in Machu Picchu, where at a certain point of day, the carvings along one of the ziggurats there? I forget. But it produces what looks like patterns of, I think it is snakes or serpents. Feathered serpents? Or just a snake. This is a very loose recollection on the ground. So you can see this animal. And so it's basically the same idea. So as they're beginning their sermon, it's at the time of day where the shadows are long, and they can see them splayed out in the form of whatever these creatures are, whatever they imagine them to look like or whatever they have seen. And then the sun rises and those shadows disappear. They recede as the sermon concludes, as if the power of this religion has banished those shadows in the shape that they took. So that means that sermons will be early morning when the shadows are long. I like that a lot. Ooh, it feels rich. It feels rich. Okay. I've been toying with religious figure. Like, would they worship a god? Would they have, like, saint-like figures? Would they worship it more as a concept, like an entity, a being, or like a identifiable figure? Do you know what I mean? Like, the concept of a god is more ambiguous than, like, here's this guy, his name is Bob, and he died 10,000 years ago and we worship his spirit. You know what I mean? Although some religions have both. What would make sense for these people? What would make sense for them? They're into controlling all of this light by themselves. They want to be able to control the cast of shadows themselves. I wonder if they wouldn't be dissatisfied if they prayed to a being saying, please, take away the nighttime, take away the otherworlders, take away the shadows. And there's no response, obviously. I don't know if I made that clear. I don't want their religion to be legit. I don't want there to be something that they're actually speaking to on the other side. I want it to be fake and bad. They don't know that necessarily, right? But I wonder about like adding things in the world that make it look like it could be real. Just enough to be convincing people of that, but then it's not. Maybe there's like certain phenomena. Let's do this. Following the phenomenon of the illuminated days. This is something I referenced a while back. We had the green days. I think we had silver days, shadowed days, crimson days, something like that. Put little question marks for me to go back to this at some point in time because I don't remember if I have this right at all. Following the phenomenon of the illuminated days. In which there was said to be light everywhere. Which is a myth that these people have. Haven't decided if it has real standing or not. But it is a myth. Works like a flood myth, basically. Our world has flood myth. There's a flood myth that shows up all over the place thousands of years ago. They have this. I've not thought all of it through all that much. Times will be early morning when the shadows are long. What was I going to do with these? Oh, I was going to decide what their god is like. Not actually figured it out. Let's just put God. I think they would have a being who is very judgmental of the actions of its followers. Let's say they judge themselves harshly on their ability to deal with the other worlders. I wonder if they might believe that other neighboring people have a hand in these beings. I'm going to tie this in with the Golanese. Might believe the Golanese are responsible for the other worlders. They've stolen dust, not all caps, dust. They do not worship the flame everlasting. They may just blame those people. They move at night. They would not like these people at all. I have to move my car for street sweeping. I have to pause real quick and I'll be back in a second. Let's hang on a second. Yay! Let's move it up here. Move these down to the bottom. I'll be back soon. And we're gonna do title. Did it go to it? Yeah, it did. Okay. Moving me car. Be back soon. Okay. All right, I will be back shortly. Don't blow up. I have returned. How are we doing? We'll get rid of all of this. Oh, okay. Let's begin again. Hello, Edwin. Very good to see you. How are you doing? I hope you're having a good day so far. I don't know if you were here earlier, but we were doing a little world work, a little world building work. I've actually done a lot in an hour's time. We've laid out a few plants and animals. We've done a little name formatting, I guess, like regional names. And now we're doing a little bit of religion stuff for these people. I'm building a very bad place to live, basically, is what it comes down to. I'm building a bad place to be. Otherworld, lasting, everlife. Okay. Let's... Oh my god, my thought immediately escaped me. What was I just going to put down? Cultural rules. Like I said, I want this to be a bad place to live. I want them to be prejudiced. Because that makes something very good to root against in a story, doesn't it? Who's not here earlier, join the stream. Oh, you were greeted by me saying I was back? That's perfect timing. I just had to move my car for street sweeping. Yeah, we're rolling again. I cannot remember which streams you've been here for before, but this is the world that I've written a little bit in. We were doing some writing a few times. And I'm just fleshing some stuff out in the background so I can write a little bit better, because I hit a few dead ends. And I didn't really know what I wanted to do with them, and so here we are. Establishing stuff a little bit better. I want there to be some bad gender roles. Let's... gender? I'm a little bit interested in... not necessarily a modern take on bad gender roles, but still having it very, very divided. I do think patriarchal will root against the men. But I'm curious about having parts of their society lining up with like things that they consider feminine or masculine that is not the same as what we do necessarily, but just based on their own experiences. In fact, I wonder if we can put this in here. Kind of wondering about in their religious organization. They're worried about the nighttime. They're scared of the dark. And maybe we'll have the male priests run the sermons. The female priests do the sort of like protectiveness against whatever's happening outside at night. The otherworlders. Which is an honor in its own right, but also the more dangerous job, which I think is fitting for the vibe that I'm trying to go for. Is it ad time? That's crazy. Let's see. Let's say... Oh, I came up with a word for this earlier. Oh, flame something. It was like along the lines of Flame Keeper, Flame Priest, something like that. I don't think you guys can see this. I think it was immediately blocked. But we did just get a cheap viewers on streamboo.com remove the space. Okay. I'm gonna call it Flame Keeper right now. Because I think... Actually, that might have been what I did. Flame Keeper? Flame Keeper. let's say traditionally female role. Keeping sacred flames alight and dusting to protect against the night. And then we'll have... This feels kind of dumb. Flame speaker? I'm going to call it that for now, though. And say traditionally male role. Performing sermons and individual dustings. The individual dustings would happen to individuals. They'd have to go to a place and be dusted, basically. Once per moon, I think is what I did. You know what? Let's make a place for this as well. Dustings. Let's see. Each individual must be dusted once per moon. Once per moon. What would be a good way for people like this to keep track of it? Would it, like, on their birthday? Like that day of them, not on their birthday, right? Like if my birthday was June 17th, which it's not, for the record. If my birthday was June 17th, and then it'd be like on June 17th, and then July 17th, and then August 17th, and then every 17th of the month, then I have to go do this. Honestly, I really like that approach. Each individual must be dusted once per moon. On the day of their birth. And I'm just gonna say, like, e.g., first of every month. Or you go a different way. What if at some point there's a test to prove your manliness, like some rites of passage to become an adult? Boys who fail are treated as women. Girls are supposed to fail, but some can't control their competitive spirit and pass and are treated as men from that point. That's a very cool idea. That is a very cool idea. So then in that, it would be like masculine roles are more ideal. And so then they would compete to try to earn those. That's very fun. That concept alone could be a whole book on its own, couldn't it? Coming of age, competition to prove... Coming of age competition. I don't know how to phrase this. Coming of age competition to prove... I don't know if prove is the right word. To earn? Sought after roles or positions. I don't know what those roles or positions are necessarily. Let's make just little subsections. We'll have masculine roles. We'll have feminine roles. We can definitely do some really fucked up things with the way that they treat different sexualities or immigrants. It's gonna be a terrible place to live. Oh my god. Okay, I like this a lot. I think that's very fun. We already put these few in here. We have Flame Speaker. This is basically priest in charge of dustings. And we have Flame Keeper. Priestess in charge of say night dustings and I mean flame keeping. It's pretty straightforward. Masculine roles. I know that I have this Osser. This is basically like government official / lord. That's kind of the gist. How xenophobic do you want them to be? Pretty xenophobic. I already know that there's These people down here, again, I can't remember how much you heard, but basically, they've got this whole thing. There's a cycle in this world of life and death. Not delved into this enough, but this is the rough idea. That's basically been messed up. So then when spirits go to rest, when somebody dies, they don't actually. And so they kind of all congregate and reemerge at nighttime, particularly in these areas where the people have been particularly bad. And so the night is a very dangerous time. They're trying to keep themselves inside, keep themselves safe. They've got certain mechanisms that help basically isolate themselves during these periods of time. And then they have punishments associated with this, right? So then some people are forced to go outside at night and basically die if they've done something really heinous. These people, the Golonese to the south, very different lifestyle and different relationship with the world. They don't have all of these fears. They interact differently with things, and that difference is a big red flag to these people. And so they're kind of at war with them. They've got a border war going on. And in my head, people on both sides who are captured by the enemy are basically slaves. It's basically slave labor. It's how they treat their opponents when they've captured them, if they haven't killed them. So yes, xenophobic. And I imagine them having like a large amount of propaganda about, you know, other people being lesser than them, not being the same or being less human. I do have in this world so far people of different regions, especially where there's like natural borders. They start to develop like very different traits. I've always been really fascinated by the idea of like, you know, thousands of years ago, there would have been Homo sapiens. There also would have been other very close relatives of ours living at the same time as us, like when we're cavemen, that are not Homo sapiens. And so they look a little bit different. They work a little bit different. Maybe they're different heights. They have different lifespans. And I want to put that into this. I think that's really fun, just to have certain distinctions between different groups of humans. They're all humans. They all should be equal, right? But they don't treat each other that way. I'm wondering about record keeping and writing as well, in terms of these gender roles. I do know already there's a character I have that is a woman who becomes an Osser. And so then she's having to deal with a very male-dominated group of people. And that is a really fun story in and of itself. It seems, from what I'm looking at so far, I've kind of gone... These ones are in charge of things that control stuff, and these ones are more in charge of safety. Keeping things running the way that they need to be running. I wonder what other like societal roles fit into both of those. Oh, we also have this one. This is basically other worlder hunter that we would have as a masculine role. I'm considering doing I don't know, I'm wondering about some like regulatory, what's the word I'm looking for? Somebody in charge of drafting legislation, like doing the tedium of all of that sort of stuff. I'm gonna put this in parentheses. Trying to view this how they would view this as something more passive, and as opposed to something more active, like an Aught Seeker or an Osser. Yeah. I'm wondering what this could look like as well. Coming of age competition to earn sought after roles or positions. Could be something to do with dealing with other worlders. A lot of their world, the way that they run things, revolves around the impact of these and dealing with them, managing a world in which they're interacting with them. I think that could work. I don't know exactly how. We might have another pronoun system. Pronouns for their children, usually he, her. After you're assigned your gender after the test, and a pronoun for outsides, people who did not take the test and are now too old to take it and considered genderless. Genderless can be made slaves as they have no roles assigned through the gender. That actually would fit super well into what I've set up so far. That's a great idea. You come up with bangers, Edwin. Let me turn this over in my head a second. I think there's two, or maybe even more than two, options for how to do this. We can do it with pronouns. We can do it with naming. A naming system or naming conventions, they get a certain title. And outsiders don't have that. Or like an honorific. And then probably also like a change in dress, what people are wearing. And honestly, with a very image-based group of people, that one would work really, really well. I think the pronouns or names or whatever as well. But I wanna put this in. Let's do dress codes for children. I'm just gonna say pre-write because I don't have another word for it right now. And for adult genders. I don't imagine those being pretty stringent. I don't know what they would be. What would people in this place wear? Not really thought that far. I've given them some robes so far, and that's kind of as far as I went, which is very generic. And then in this same one, we'll pronouns and or. I'm gonna say naming convention / honorific. What kind of climate are they in? I don't know how well you can see the map up there, but these people are in like the middle top. So they are in. You know what? Hang on. I can find the thing. I can find a thing. I think it's temperate. Temperate forest most of the time. So they should get like a full year of distinct seasons. Hang on, I just have to do a quick Google. They would be humid continental. I think humid continental and oceanic. A little bit of humid subtropical. Let's see what those look like. Humid continental biome. Let's add some more. Humid subtropic biome. And let's just do oceanic coast biome. And kind of get a vision for what they look like. Yeah. Yeah, very much a lot of forests. Very much a lot of this. And they got some mountains. They got some big mountains on the west side. Oh, this is a little bit different. A bit subtropical. Oh, you know, it's a similar thing. It's just a little more wet. Just a little more. This is not it. This is not the vibe. But this is the vibe. Oh, that's gorgeous. Anyways, that's the situation. So I would imagine that it would change a lot by the season, honestly. Or where they are, because at different elevations as well. But then I want it to be like, I think probably in terms of clothing, it would have to be more about like what shape or aesthetic goes with a certain gender identity rather than weather. I think it would have to be some sort of visual that can remain steady depending on different weather and different like layers of clothing. I don't know. I might have to stew on it. Okay, I'm gonna go back to dustings. Each individual must be dusted once per moon on the day of their birth every month. This is done by a flame speaker. And then we have dust. Is this the right word? It is. Okay. Male dress, wool, leather, fur, anything that have to do with animal husbandry. Ah, that could make sense. Female, clothing made of plant fibers. Ooh, that is a very good delineation. A very good delineation. Then under that we would do hunting and cooking. We'll have masculine animal materials. We have leather. We have fur. I don't know if I have any animals that have wool yet. I'll have to circle back to that one. Feminine. We have plant matter. So we can have... I haven't identified any plants that can be made into that, so I have to make some. That's fine. I'll come back to that. We'll just put little question marks there for now, and we'll circle back around. Although I'll just put, let's just say woven something. Woven something. We have dust braziers. I imagine these burning dust and... I mean, it goes into the air, basically, through the smoke. Circulating through the smoke. These are used to keep large areas, like cities, safer. The dustings for each individual. We have that. I also have this idea of people intentionally escaping the dustings in some cases. I'm not sure how they would accomplish this. I don't know how they would evade it, but I know that some people escape the dustings. Just haven't thought through entirely how. You're expected to show up a place every single time, every month. How is that going to be enforced? Done by Flame Speaker. Say lists kept of people's births. A little bit fascist of them. Kept the people's births. Let's say, is it too much to do an annual census? Would it be that important to them? I kind of think it would. Annual census. Let's put that over here. Census keeping. We might even do like record keeping. Gardening? We'll see. How? I'll come back to that at some point. List kept the people's births, annual census, to check who is alive and if people have moved and new births. List kept of people's births, annual census to check who is alive and people have moved and new births. I would imagine that they would put the responsibility on the people to show up. I think I called these Kirks. So people would be expected to show up on their day of the moon to the local Kirk for dusting. And then if they don't, that'd also probably inhibit travel, wouldn't it? That was another thing though I had, that if anybody high up in their leadership travel, they would be traveling with a flame speaker. This also might tweak the stuff that I have up here. I have all these dust rolls. No, I think that still makes sense. Those are different things. We have the dust smith. These guys would be responsible for creating dust out of bones. You'd have the dust warden, responsible for keeping the bones safe. And the dust warrens, I think is what I called them. Sometimes a shed, sometimes a cellar, in the big cities a stone building. Oh, hello. All under lock. And then we have the dust farrier. Transports dust and bones to places where it's needed. I think we would... Oh, this is a tricky one. I'm imagining that they would also have their, like, crops be dusted as well. Crop dusting, but make it bad. I'm just wondering which one would do that. Flame Keeper. Flame Speaker. These are individual dustings. I'm gonna say these people responsible for crop dusting. And let's bold them as well. Like the other jobs are bolded. Go back to this one too. This whole competition could be something to do with dealing with the other worlders. I have this idea that people who they do something really bad, something very taboo, they're basically left outside overnight. And it's kind of like a course of judgment, right? If their flame everlasting decides that they're innocent, then they'll be alive the next morning. If they're decided guilty, then they die out there with the night spookies. And most people die. Maybe everybody dies. And I think that's too extreme to do for a coming-of-age competition, but something along those same lines would probably work well. Or maybe they have certain environments where, like, they are able to have just, like, one of these creatures contained. They can... I don't know, what traits would they be expecting to be revealed? Would it just be an instinct for control or for safety? They're put into this like blind test and their actions are observed to see what category they're more likely to fit into. There are plenty of plant fibers. Most commonly known and used were cotton and flax. The more unusual ones like pineapple silk and banana fabric made from the leaves of these plants. That's very cool. Pineapple silk. Wow. Pineapple leaf, fibers, and silk. That's very cool. I don't have... it's not an exact like one-to-one of Earth. So... I'm trying to make things that are very easily recognizable as being parallels to what we have on Earth, but are still their own unique things. So I think that would work if we have something that's like a little bit silkish, a little bit flax-ish. It would just come from something different. I wonder if we boop over to plants real quick and put something in there. Oh, I didn't even put this down here. The closest we got so far is this, which is basically just a grain in a corn-like husk with, it's got these silken fibers. Keeping the grain safe. That honestly might be a good one. You just take the fibers from that. Places and culture. There we go. Let's just throw that in here for now. Oh. Hello? There we go. We'll see if we add anything else. I've given them a lot of fungi. Weirdly enough. I wonder if there's any of that they can make into clothing. That could be very fun. Where was I? I was right over here with our little competition. I have a right that examines people's reactions and categorizes them based on that. I just don't know what the test is. Pineapple silk and banana fabric are both made from leaves. Climate image you showed did have a lot of trees, so that might be some tree that produces suitable leaves. That, yeah, very much so. Oh, I didn't write down my tree types. Well, I have to search through my notes to find those. I have a couple trees that I made, but that could work. Woven weech, or leaves? I wonder how fabric is made from leaves. How is fabric made from leaves? How to make fabric leaves? That's not really what I want. How is fabric made from leaves? Fall leaf decor. How to make fabric leaves? How is... let's just say cloth. How is cloth made from leaves? Plant fiber clothing. Natural History Museum. That looks promising. Plant-based fibers. And soybean. I did not know that. Inner linings of tree barks or fibers of palm, pineapple, and banana leaves. Bark cloth. Collecting strips of the inner lining of bark from certain trees, they would collect the bark, soak it, pound it into thin layers, then overlap the layers to form a flexible sheet. On cultures of the Pacific Islands, this bark cloth, usually derived from mulberry trees, takes on the historically and artistically significant name of tapa. Okay. Decorated by rubbing, stamping, stenciling, dyeing, and even smoking, tapa cloth patterns became family treasures, passed down generation to generation. That is very cool. Okay. So we have bark, bleach, or leaves, or... Let's see, inner bark lining? Pressed bark. Bark fiber skirt. What else have we got? Okay. Okay. Banyan bark. Oh, the whole thing? Is it the whole roof? That's very cool. Skirt. Ivory and rubber trades. Okay. Alright. Juicy cloth. I feel like that can't be how you pronounce it. Juicy? Juicy? Yeah. Labor intensive fabric made with fibers hand extraction from a special kind of pineapple leaf. Wow. Those are all made from pineapple leaves? That's crazy. How do they make it? Wait. That too? Okay. How is pina cloth made? Made from the leaves of the pineapple plant. I want to know about the process. Penis culture. Let's jump down to here. Sourcing the fibers. Scraping the leaf pulp. Fibers are long and somewhat stiff. Two types of fibers are produced. Coarser ones, finer ones for cloth. Okay. Okay, and then they just loom it. That is very cool. What else do we have? Individual leaves of the flax plant. Okay. There's a lot you can do with plant fiber. That's very good. Oh my goodness, I don't have all that much time left. I have to teach a lesson soon. Write that examines people's reactions and categorizes them based on... and categorizes them. This is a very tricky one. What will they want this to be? They're watching the reaction of children, categorizing them into roles that are more control-based or more safety-based, from what we have so far at least. Maybe safety isn't the right word. Regulation? Order and regulation? Control and regulation are very similar words, but I'm imagining these differently. Control, order, safety, regulation. I might need come back to this point, to this note. That is a tricky one. It is a very tricky one. Okay, I'm gonna flesh out this just a little bit more. We have Osir. Basically, lords. Second to the Sicer often have regional tasks. There is one Osir per major city, which rules over the surrounding towns and villages. What's the word I'm looking for? Which rules over surrounding towns and villages with the authority of the Sicer. And then we have Sicer. Basically, the king. Pretty straightforward. In my mind, this place would have been, at one point in time, conquered, attacked. At a time where there would just have been a council of Osirs, and then the conquering family became decisive, which I'm going to put here. And then I'm going to have multiple Osirs kept in the capital. What in the world did I call the capital? Hang on now. The High Nest? I might change that name. That's what it is for now. Saucers. Alright, multiple Osirs kept in the capital. These would be advisors to the Sicer, and manage daily life in the capital. Okay, any other things that we should flesh out up here? These are very straightforward. This is just a record keeper. And if we're going with these very strict gender roles that we came up with, this would usually be a feminine role. I still want to figure out this one too, because this feels important to me with the story that I'm thinking of. I just haven't decided how exactly to go about that. People don't show up to get dusted, then I would assume that somebody would go after them. Although I want these people to be able to do it subtly enough that they just don't show up at all. So maybe it would be like bribery of a flame speaker. I wonder if that would work. Maybe with the right one. It'd be a very individual case. Bribery of a flame speaker to evade consequences. And then if they don't show, they are delivered a summons. By the what? By the what? Is this the book? This is the book. It is. We're fleshing out the world a little more before I do more writing. Why would one want to escape the dusting? Personal philosophy. So the vast majority of the people who live here would be very complicit with the dusting. They would want it. They would encourage it because this is basically seen as their only protection against this very scary part of the world that is out of control to them. However, the people who are high enough in society to be able to observe the ways of other cultures in the world, who would be able to interact with other people and travel to other places, would see that that is not the case in every part of the world. And so, you know, in a sense of superiority, most of them would still want it and would still do it. It grants them control, right? This is their perception of the world. It's not the only way the world has to work. And so those of them who are aware of this and see some advantage in trying to do things in a different way, or trying to disprove the way that their religion and government rules things, would elect not to do this. Basically as a way to shirk control. I would imagine this being something that is pretty specific to people who are in high positions of power, and even within that group, a very small subsect of them. The dusting is a way to keep safe from night spirits, that is correct. In my head, I've not fleshed this out fully yet either. It is not the only way, and it is also a way that makes it worse. So these otherworlders, these spirits that come out at night, are a product of people who die not being able to be laid to rest, basically, in a way that they should be. And in using the dust, it's like antagonization, right? It makes the problem worse. They don't realize that, but that's what's happening. So their attempts to control it and to maintain control just make the problem worse and worse and worse, like each progressive generation. And this what? I've not come up with a super strong military force? Is that the word I'm looking for? People called sentinels that used to be part of another group of people. Let's just say soldiers. I know that there are sentinels, and these are basically high-ranking soldiers. I don't know if I need a specific name for the soldiers or for the guards, or if the priests, the flame people, would have their own group, like independent group of soldiers, or if they would have like a militia of sorts. I'm not sure. Town Card 1 and Town Card 2. That's all you need, baby. Soldiers. Let's make a little note for it. Does the Flame Everlasting have its own group of soldiers? The more I sit with it, the more I think yes. The more I think yes. And then the more I think of this, maybe also drives them toward a specific job / role in society, right? Like, what if something in this little coming of age rite is also like, hey, you should really be a soldier. Hey, you should really be a flame speaker. Hey, you should really be a farmer. I don't know. But then that kind of takes away from the whole, like, you know, people are raised into what they're born into. Another thing to ponder. I think yes. Local militia? That seems the easiest way to go about this. People like the church because of its protection against the other worlders, so they join the militia to keep the flame speakers and keepers safe. Is communication with night spirits possible? Maybe some avoid dusting to try to communicate with the spirits and gain knowledge. If you're discovered, you're trying to communicate with the spirits, you're branded a necromancer. Yes, yes, and yes. I don't think I've written much about this on here. The people that they hate that are over here to the south, that is exactly what they do. And that's part of why they hate them. Because their religion is based around communication with the dead, basically. And so they live in a way that is completely opposite to the people in Sinjid Rock. And so if anybody is caught trying to communicate with them or trying to go against the dustings at all, then they're treated in the same, basically xenophobic way that the other people are treated. Except it's not xenophobia because it's their own people, but you get the gist. Feasts and holidays are a great way to keep people on board with the church. This is very true. I think I had a holiday in there that was like they burn prayers basically in a fire. I forget what I called it. I need to go back through my notes for that as well. I need to add more holidays though. I really need to add more holidays. Hey, Nightbot. You know what? Let's put one. Holidays. I don't remember what it's called, but I'm just gonna say The Burning Day, which is not the name. That's just a note for myself. This is prayers burned en masse to the flame everlasting. Remembering what I read, the dusting day was a low level. This is true. This is true. They have their little monthly thing that is like a local feast. It's a good one. So, dusting day. I don't know when to put this. I never decided this when I was writing the book, because I just made the book up as I went along. Should be on a significant day. The moon. And this is local monthly festivity as the town as a whole is dusted. The day of the rite of passage, yes. Maybe it varies from town to town. I imagine it would get a little bit looser as they go south. Yeah. Oh, you mean the day of the month. I'm wondering something that can cause conflict between towns. That could be. I have like a loose concept of it lining up with some sort of moon phase. Because the moon in this world works a little bit different, and that's also not something I've entirely ironed out. It's a very loose idea right now. But I'm imagining it corresponding to a moon phase. I would think a new moon or a full moon. I just don't know what exactly makes sense yet. But yeah, you're right. Let's do rite of passage. Maybe this is like a New Year's thing? Whenever they decide that the year is beginning again. This is their New Year, so they have like a New Year starting and they bring in this whole crop of young people again. That's such a good idea. Full moon as dark nights are scary with spirits. Ooh, that would make sense. Full moon, since bright. It's a fun way to start things off. Yeah. Start things off. Here's the children. I don't know if you were here for it. We were discussing basically really stringent gender roles. And so as a child grows up, they're basically assigned to a more feminine or masculine role based on their response to whatever this rite is. I just don't know what it is. Maybe right before the new moon. That way you're extra protected. So like they do the dustings right before a new moon because now it's going to be dark and scary. And they want it like at the peak of... That could work. That could work. Where did I put these? Holidays. Hey, Nightbot. Full moon since bright? Or right before new moon? Could be. Could do. Hey, don't flirt with Nightbot in my chat. Hey, hey, hey. Don't flirt with Nightbot in my chat. Nightbot only wants to touch one person's tail, and it's not you. Nightbot, don't reply to that. I like what we've gotten so far. I really do. Hey, hey. The new moon guys are heretics. Full moon is the only true way. It's already catching on. It's already catching on. I'm really proud of the fact that we've truly made just a bad place to be. And I think that that's beautiful. Now, I have to go teach a lesson. But I will probably be doing this again on Friday or just writing. But I have to raid and run, so I'm going to send you to somebody doing some co-working, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.